I just woke up with this no.
And instantly you are back in the matrix.
Something has shifted.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lucy Davis, and I look like I'm in the snow because it's bloody freezing where I am. And this is the gorgeous Wendy Smith. Babe, it's so good to see you.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Lucy. Yes, nice to be back to have a chat, isn't it?
I know, I've missed you.
Yeah, same here. I've been saying I'm going to come out to Spain for the last 4 weeks, and it's November now.
How's that been going for you? No, let's be real. You've been talking about coming over to Spain since April.
Yeah.
We're now at the end of October, babe. You know, like it's been, time is going so quickly, Wendy, don't you think?
Pretty much my life revolves around I wake up, gratitude for waking up, and then I'm back in bed having gratitude for
thank you for getting me through the day.
Oh, what on earth is this about?
It's fascinating right now, isn't it? I'm actually really quite enjoying it, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel as if life is on a much go faster. And I do feel as if it's almost like a comical kind of thing that's happening, because we're almost like running around getting stuff done. And then it's like, oh, bed, oh, up again. You know, it's one of those kind of things. But I'm actually really enjoying life right now, Wendy, like really enjoying it. Things are like magical things are happening. And I know we were talking just before we came on here, and it's like we're slipping between realms and we're getting insights into things that we never thought that we'd get. And it's just so do they hear enough from me? When talk to us, tell us what's going on in your world.
Well, it's like all my internal workings, like, and I don't mean the physical aspects of the body, but it's like I'm having some sort of internal metamorphosis that's changing me into something else. It's like everything that I ever thought was important in my life is just disappearing off, as if it's a real sort out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, this is very in alignment with what's taking place. So you feel as if you're stripping bare all of the stuff that you've put up with and shut up over the years, and now you're really stepping up into your authentic version. Does that feel right?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a 3 strikes and you're out person. I've gone to a 1. I'm literally 1 strike off. See ya. But there's nothing attached, no emotional attachment to it. It's just like, no, done, no, done. Like with, even going through my wardrobe or getting rid of clothes or books, or it's not just, I've done it with people, obviously, but I'm doing it with energies, with belief systems, with work.
Amazing.
Bits of work, just like, no interest anymore. It's not about the money anymore. It's just no interest. Doesn't bring me any joy whatsoever.
Wow.
And tuning into the intuitive as well. So like I said to you, I was meant to be somewhere on Saturday, and I got there and just thought, go home.
I often feel like that, babe. There's no judgment from my side with that. I often go, do you really want to do this? The answer is, not going.
Just went home, and it was just that tuning in. But if I'd have listened to myself in the morning, I wouldn't have
bothered to waste your time to go in the first place.
Yeah.
Aren't we funny? So you're still trying to force the human programming, knowing that this just isn't resonant and you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, just let it go. It's just the following of the guidance.
Yeah. And acknowledging the red flags, right?
Yeah. When you feel them. Feel them, when all of a sudden you get stuck in a random traffic jam somewhere where they never have traffic jams for an hour, and you go, okay, maybe
I shouldn't be taking this journey today. And it's like in relationships, isn't it? I really don't like that quality about something. Oh, but I'll keep forcing this relationship. It's really intriguing right now. So I've got a question for you, Wendy. Do you think this is a process of moving from our carbon body into our light body? Because I feel as if we're ditching all the baggage, because our physical vessels is vibrating at such a different rate now. And in my to put it into simplistic terms, more to the point, it's we're shedding this heavier, dense version and moving into this lighter body version. So none of that nonsense can come with us. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, it does. It does feel like it's like a shedding, like a losing weight. And that's why I think I'm being quite brutal with it, and not minding the being brutal, if that makes sense. I suppose the word brutal is probably slightly extreme, but I'm just very like cut now, cut, gone. No, there's nothing. I'm not feeling like I'm leaving any karma in any spaces when I do it. It's just like, no, that one's done. Move.
Amazing.
Done.
That's huge. So explain that. So first and foremost, the word brutal to me personally isn't aggressive or over the top, because I've been being called brutal since way before my awakening journey. All of my friends used to be like, God, you're so brutal, because I've always been so honest, and people don't know what to do with honesty. So first and foremost, I respect brutal, because I'm like, okay, so she's being honest. So good job for that. The second thing that I just wanted to share was this stepping through and being able to just, no, this is not for me. No, this is not for me. How have you done it? Like, for people watching, how have you done it? Because you said before it was 3 strikes, now it's 1 strike and they're out. Like, how has that changed for you? How have you been able to get to that point?
You know what? This is a bit of a baffling one for me as well, because I am a people pleaser, but not to the detriment of myself, if that makes sense. And
every area of your life, or just some areas?
There
has to be an area where at some point you've been detrimental to yourself, surely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is. But like nowadays, more
you come first.
Yeah, I come first. But throughout all sort of like my coaching career, if a coach couldn't run a session, they'd go, when can you run a session? Oh, yeah, I can do that for you. Because I always wanted to not let people down. And it would be a detriment to myself, because at the longer run of it was I got exhausted. So maybe not at the time when I was doing it, but the longer ramifications of that type of behaviour, because I was doing it with family, with friends, with colleagues, is that you do run out of energy at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something though has shifted, and I can't quite pinpoint what it has been, but somewhere around 4 to 6 weeks ago, something happened within me. And I honestly can't really put this into words, but it was just like a no. I just woke up with this no, like a no in my soul. No, enough now. Wow. Because I've been saying for so long that I was going to stop doing certain types of work, and then I'd end up back in that environment, and then within a week I'd be feeling knackered again, you know. And the certain people would do things, and I'd allow it, and I'd allow it, and I'd allow it. And
would it annoy you when you allowed it? Would it annoy you? Like, would it frustrate you?
I'd run guilt, Lucy. Mine was guilt. So yeah, if I feel guilt before answering the text message or whatever it is. Wow. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, if I don't do that, I'm going to feel really guilty. And it's like, I can't have this anymore.
Wow.
So yeah, quite a random one, guilt.
Yeah, but that is because most people would resonate with getting frustrated or getting angry. Like, they do something and then they're like, oh God, this person's so annoying. Why do they ask me to do everything for them? Rather than being like, hey, you're annoying yourself right now. Like, you could easily have said no. But it's interesting that you go down the guilt route.
Yeah. That's the first one that comes out. Oh, you know, I start just running the emotion of guilt before I've even answered something, which then makes me think, right, if I do it, I'm not going to feel this. But what I've realised is that's some sort of old response to something from a long, long time ago. So yeah, I literally just woke up one morning and I had a no in my head. It was like no, no to this, no to that, no to this. So it's everything from, like, say, work to people to, and it was at that point that then, yeah, I've become a 1 strike and you're out. And it's really interesting, but it's
ruthless
like,
bitch.
The weird thing is, I always used to think that there'd be karma attached to things, but you get more karma attached to something if you keep going in the freaking loop with it.
Beautiful.
These things, when they come in and they give you a jab again, and you just go, no, that's not, no, I'm not, I don't need that loop again, I'm done, cut.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a literal choice, babe, isn't it, right now?
Yeah. And I think that's all it is. Just someone let me down Friday night. Well, let themselves down as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, that's it, done. I'm done. We're done.
Yeah.
But we're done with, like, no karma in the space. It's just like, no, that's not acceptable in my world now. we're done.
Bingo. And that is the point that we need to be getting to right now. This is about everything that the energies are bringing up, right? We need to know who we are, what our standards are, what our values are, what our beliefs are. So we can say, I could say to Wendy, let's say Wendy did something, or I did something to Wendy. I could sit down and be like, oh, right, I love Wendy. She's a good friend of mine and I want to keep her in my life. So what I'm now going to do is have a conversation with her and just be like, hey, babe, this is my belief system. This is my value. This is my standard. What you did on Friday, for example, made me feel like this. Are we able to kind of discuss it? Is this you? And then I can make a choice. Do I want that version in my life? So it doesn't have to be a cut and shut, does it? But if it's somebody that you're like going out on a first date with, for example, yeah, I'm going out on a first date, the person doesn't show up, screw you, mate, you're not getting a second chance. And this is the important thing of why we need to know what our standards and our values are, in my opinion.
Yeah, standards and values are one thing that's been highlighted for me this year. It really has, in many different environments. And it's really interesting because, you know, when you look at things like if people ask you to go out and you go, oh, no, I'm not going to that. No one cares. So this is the thing. It's only us that has the emotional response. They'll get on and they'll have a nice time with everybody else who's there or whatever. No one actually sort of cares about that. So it's the connecting into yourself and going, actually, what really is important for me?
Yeah, I love that.
This is where I am with the what really is important for me. And if I'm going to follow that, everybody else in my environment is going to have a much better experience if I'm actually following my directive timeline.
Joyful in what you're doing.
Not other people's timelines.
Exactly.
Because if we think we're all running, like me and you are sat here having this conversation, but we could be in different dimensional planes having this conversation. So if everyone's running their own dimension, do you know what I mean? And we're all actors, like I'm an actor in your dimension, you're an actor in my dimension. Absolutely. If I start running off of your script, then I'm not following.
Not being authentic to yourself, are you? Yeah, you're not staying in your own lane. And this is what I think the way that you've just described that is perfect. And when I talk about staying in your own lane, this is exactly it. Until you know who you are at your core. And people say it to me all the time, Lucy, how do you know? So, for example, the perfect example that you just gave a moment ago, we're all supposed to be meeting up on Friday, the 3rd of November to launch Kind of Sound radio show. So if you guys don't follow them on YouTube, please go over and follow them on YouTube. You won't get the music, but you will get the chats. Also go and follow them on every other platform that they're on because they're absolutely amazing. I am a radio show host starting after the 3rd of November, and Wendy is a current radio show host. Obviously, we're relaunching with her as one as well. So please go and follow that. But so on Friday, the 3rd of November, everybody's meeting and it's going to be a party and they're going to have fun and they're going to do all this really cool stuff. Now, I'm away doing some really important energy work. And there was an element of little Lucy that was like, wow, I want to go, FOMO, missing out. I want to go and be there with these people. But then I was like, whoa, like, do you really need to be there? Like, come on. And I know that that was a trauma response coming from my little girl that didn't used to be seen, didn't used to be heard, and, you know, wanted to be popular and all of that stuff. Because my value and my mission is getting the energy set so that we can step out of these dense energies. And everybody knows that. I haven't flown around the world a million times. It feels like that. Bit of an exaggeration, but it feels like that in the last 10 years to get to this really important point that we're in right now and just be like, nah, I'm just going to go to a party. So I've had to go, as much as I really want to be there with you guys, like I'm going to have to check in from the location that I'm going to be in because I'm not going to be anywhere near the UK. I'm not going to be anywhere near England, you know. So, but it doesn't mean that I'm like, I don't want to be there with people because I love those people. Some of them have become really good friends in a very short space of time. But likewise, it's about knowing yourself enough to know really what your core value is. And yes, of course, this radio show is going to be amazing to help get the mission out and all the rest of it. But my core value at my soul level is shifting the energies, bringing soul school in and allowing consciousness to be a safe entity because right now it's not. Right now it's being hunted. And I am one of the linchpins of going out there and making sure that we can live safely without being hunted. So, of course, I have to do my job. It doesn't mean that I didn't go through those processes. Because I think what a lot of people do, Wendy, they see people like yourself as a coach and me as a coach, and they're like, they've got their shit together and they're perfect.
Yeah, right.
I know. I've never professed to be, and I know you've never professed to be either. Like, we are so vulnerable and so out there. But there are some people that still put people on a pedestal. I don't.
Never put someone, I'll tell you, I learned that lesson years ago through multiple different like trainers I'd had, or people that I highly respected. And you put everything into them, and you're like, I'll tell you one thing it does, it stops you looking at your own potential when you do that anyway.
Exactly.
And the second thing is they will fall off that pedestal at some point, and then you'll be gutted.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd never do that now.
The other element of it is you're not here to be that person. Like, I actually have a few people that imitate me. I don't get it under any, like, I just can't fathom it. Like, why? It doesn't make any sense to me, but they do. And, you know, people will send me stuff and whatever, and I'll be like, but they're amazing. Like, why? I don't get it. Like, they're such an important piece of the puzzle. And it's the same as putting somebody on a pedestal. Like, please don't ever do that.
No, everybody will fall off at some point because we're all human. And there's no difference between me, you, and everybody else out there. We all have inside us unlocked potential. It's just if you want to have a look for it and bring it out and break down all those belief systems that put you into that place where you think you haven't got potential.
Yeah. Or where you can't get you procrastinate, so you don't actually follow the potential, things like that. That's what we're here for, is just to help you break through that stuff really quickly.
I still procrastinate myself.
Yeah.
I do. It's funny. I'll sit there and I'll do something. I'll have gone on to, like, because I try and keep my screen time down as much as possible on my phone, because I use it for business as well. I found myself yesterday, because I do like some of the TikTok videos.
You like a bit of TikTok, babe, don't you?
And I sat there, and all of a sudden I thought, what are you doing? Because I was suddenly aware of what I was doing. I was scrolling through videos.
Scrolling.
And it was like 20 minutes had gone past. And I was like, we don't do this. This is not what we do. And it was just like, no, shut it off. So I just shut the phone off. That was it. It was like, no, we don't do that.
You know, I read something yesterday. TikTok apparently has the most addictive algorithm.
Yeah, because it shows you everything you want.
Yeah, I mean, I get algorithms from a technology perspective. I don't get how I don't understand the addictive side of it, because I'm not programmed. Like, when I used to work with technology, it wasn't to make people get hooked on it. So for me, that's just a weird thing. But literally, they said TikTok has the most addictive algorithm that's out there on any of the social media apps.
Yeah, it's a really handy bit of kit if you want to use it for like sales and stuff. Because of the content I like watching, and I love watching all, future-based, lovely content. So I'll flick on something, I go, oh, that was interesting. And because it's only like a 3-minute video, then the next one comes up and you go, oh, that's interesting. And because I like interesting information, I'll be going, that's interesting. And stop. And I literally
every opportunity.
Stop. I'm just like that. Stop. Just stop now. You've had enough interesting opportunity, like information. And for most people, though, aren't aware of what they're doing. This is the difference. So if I'm procrastinating, I'll be sitting there laughing at myself going, yep, you're procrastinating. Come on, do something.
Anything.
You don't want to do that task, at least do another task
that's going
to be more productive than what you're doing at the moment. But it's just nice for people to know that, we do, yes, work in self-awareness, personal development, high performance coaching, but you have to do it on yourself all day long as well. Absolutely. Like the habits in the morning, you want to set your day up. I always say you set the right state or a right old state based on how you wake up.
Love that.
This is one thing that will never happen in the morning, is that I get out of bed straight away. I lay there. I check in with the mind first. I go, what are you doing? And some of the stuff that goes through my head in the morning, I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow.
Mine's quite wild based on the dreams that I've had the night before. I'm like, seriously?
I need to just process.
Make this up?
Yeah, just going to process that before I even think about moving. And then I'll get the head in the right space. And all I do is I'll repeat certain things over and over, just to get, it's like a little reset connect, like cassette that I run in my head in the morning. I just repeat a certain thing over and over and over and go, there we go, that's it. The thoughts are shut up now, we're all good. And then I go do my little bit of heart coherence meditation, bit of journaling, and then I crack on with the day. But if you don't spend that time for you and working on you, you'll stay in the program. You'll just stay in the program. You're never going to ascend anywhere. And
I have quite an intense morning. The people that come on my programs are actually quite shocked when I tell them what I get up to in the morning, because like you, I lay there, then I smile to myself. Like once I've done the processing, then I smile to myself and I put myself in the vibration that I want to be in. Yeah. And then I will journal for, I don't know, 30 minutes or whatever. Some days I write 10 pages of A4. Like, I'm not lying to you. The wildness that's gone on the night before, I'm like, and you wouldn't believe some of this, you know. And then I do a series of stretches. I do a series of like tapping exercise, things like literally I take quite a long time. Then I load my body with water. I load my body with nutrients. And it's only at that point can I consider even picking up my phone or going for a run or anything. And the most interesting thing about so many people is the first thing they do is pick up their phone and switch off their alarm, or pick up their phone and look at their social media, and instantly you are back in the matrix.
What's everybody else's agenda as well? The way I look at the phone in the morning, it's one of the things I think in personal development that I teach people is that thing for at least an hour. Keep it away from you. Don't sleep with it in the bedroom. Leave it. Mine's in the living room. Mine's in charge on charge. And I've got like a little burner phone that's got no Wi-Fi on it that I use as an alarm clock if I ever need one. But my body's pretty much, you know, I just say to myself, I want to get up at 7. I'll wake up at 7. I want to be up at 5. I'll get up at 5. I've got
I like a little bit. I'd like a little burner phone.
Yeah, it's just an old. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's really cheap.
Yeah. I've got it in my head, mate. I can literally see it. I'm like, they were great phones, weren't they? Because we used them as phones, or we text people. That was it.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
None of this. Go on.
What you were just about to say then. You were just about to say something, and I rudely interrupted you, and I can't remember what it was. It's gone. But you were just about to say something. I was like, oh, that's a really interesting point she was about to say, but I was already like mid-flow at that point. But
no idea. I think we were just talking about habits.
It is
habits in the morning. You got to sort your energy out and sort the day out before you go. That's pretty much all that's been keeping me going. Because guys, honestly, watching this, I was saying to Luce before we got on here, like last 4 to 6 weeks, I've been going through the mill. Seriously, with like, it's like purging stuff, getting rid of stuff, whether it'll be physical things in my house, you know, looking at stuff and going, I just don't need that anymore. Go, you know, to people, to events, to work. And the one thing that keeps me level every day is the routine that I have in the morning.
Really important. It's interesting though that you say, because I explained on a video, I can't remember if it was on Instagram or on here, when I heard about Mike Shinton passing, I actually stopped, because I always look at somebody's passing as a sign for me to just check myself. Just check, are you in alignment with every area of your life? And I actually went through my business first, and I was like, right, are you still loving your coaching? And the answer is yes, I love it so much. Are you still loving your programs? The answer was yes. I like literally every week on a Monday particularly, I have the busiest day going, but I get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing. And that's a real telling sign. You know, I looked at the Rebel movement. Are you in alignment with that? And I'm loving that. I am loving it so much. I'm so proud of everything. And then of course I looked at Soul School and I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. Like literally that's my passion project. So I was like, wow, I actually feel so in alignment for the first time ever in my life where work is concerned. I'm enjoying every ounce of what I'm doing. That's a game changer. An absolute game changer. Then I looked at my living situation, and of course, as everybody knows, I bounce around the world quite a lot. So I was like, does this feel in alignment with you? And I'm like, well, yeah, I love doing the energy work, and I know it's coming to an end. Like literally, I know in my soul, my team laugh at me, but I know in my soul that it's coming to an end. Probably by April next year, I should be a lot more balanced. And I'm like, so all of these years of being unsettled and moving around and the wanderess and, you know, my home on my back kind of thing, I feel is going to come to an end. Am I okay with that? Yeah, right now I'm okay with that. I don't mind settling. I don't mind figuring out where I want to be and who I want to be with and all the rest of it. So it's a really interesting exercise that took place. And, you know, I've got to thank Mike, bless him, and God rest his soul, but I've got to thank him for that, because he really made me take a stop check. And I kind of haven't. Because I've been enjoying myself, I've just been going along and doing things. And it's only when you hit the point that you've hit 4-6 weeks ago that you normally stop check this stuff. And I actually took it as a really beautiful sign. And I wrote down every area of my life. And every area of my life, I feel very alive in. Like, even from a relationship perspective, like, I've got amazing men around me right now. Amazing men that are firing my soul up, that I'm spending time with, that are, you know, really making me want to be a better person. And that's amazing too, you know. And it's like, wow, 6 months ago, I felt as if over 6 months ago now, nearly 6.5 months ago, I literally threw a bomb in my whole life. And to be where I am 6 months down the line with a massive smile on my face, being really happy and being in so alignment. I guess my reason for sharing this is 4 to 6 weeks of you going through this, Wendy. It's horrible when you're going through it, isn't it? But when you get to that point of peace again, like I feel I'm at now, it's gold.
Yeah, it's coming.
I know it is. I see it. You know, the conversation that we had just before here, when you were like, sorry, this wasn't supposed to be a counselling session. No, this is what we do, Wendy. Like, this is what we do. I hold space for you. You hold space for me. Like, the conversation was needed today.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and we haven't even spoke about doing a video for the last few months. I literally just, you dropped me a message yesterday checking in, and I said, let's do a video. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. And here we are doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and it hasn't even been in either of our consciousness. We've spoken, we've even seen each other in the last couple of months, but it hasn't been in our consciousness to do that. So I feel from today, you're probably going to start to get a shift.
Yeah. And this might help other people as well if they've been stuck in that space, just to know it's normal. These things, but pay attention to them when they start coming in. Don't get so. I think the thing is, I've not encased myself in it like everything in my world is going wrong. It's just like, I no longer want that. I no longer want that. I no longer want that.
It's the awareness. This doesn't feel right to me anymore, so I've got to do something about it. And you are so super aware of yourself, Wendy. It's so beautiful. You know, there are a lot of people out there that go, I don't want this, but they're delusional. Of course I want this, because it's what the outside world want me to do, or my mum wants me to do, or my dad wants me to do, or my partner wants me to do. And it's the status. I spoke about losing status, like ditching the status this morning. Just because you're a husband, if you're really unhappy in that role, do something about it.
Yeah, it's the detachment to things and stuff. And I've never been
and other people's opinions.
I've had people's opinions, especially. They can do one. But do one.
I love it.
Yeah. But the detaching myself from things has been interesting as well, because I had that car accident
yes, this is the last time I saw you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was really interesting, because again, that was based around a work, something I didn't want to do, that I was driving down to that weekend. And it was literally like how the accident happened. It was just the funniest thing. It was like having a shipping container dropped in front of me. But it was literally like the universe went, you don't want to do this. You've been banging on about not doing this for 2 weeks and you're still going to do it. And I was feeling physically sick and I didn't want to go down and do it. And literally bang. And it was funny because as I hit the vehicle that did what it did in front of me, I literally laughed. As my bonnet folded up in my car, I literally chuckled and went, oh, well, I won't be going to do that job then.
And this is why we need to listen. We need to pay more attention, baby.
Because then you don't have to go through things like that, because you really don't want to do something. That was the start up, though. I think, actually, that was the start.
It was, when you said about the car accident, I was like, oh, this is where it started.
That is where it started with that, because then I decided I need to detach from my car, which I know sounds really wrong, but for people out there, I think I'm just going through this massive detachment. I love my Merc. I love cars. I grew up in a motorsport family. So cars are one thing. I don't spend my money on anything else, but I like a nice car.
But also, Wendy, sorry to interrupt you, but you are heavily reliant on your car.
Massively, yeah. And I do a lot of miles.
You do a lot of miles, you do a lot of traveling. And also it's very important for the safety and security of you because of the injury that you've had before.
Yeah.
So I get why you had the attachment, but obviously it was time to release that, right?
Yeah, well, it's attachment. I've always had Mercs because they're just good, solid. I've crashed in so many of them and they're such good cars. I've never been hurt in one. So I know it sounds weird, and that, by the way, people, it was never my fault when I had these accidents. I'm a very safe driver. There's always someone ploughing into me from that way or something. But the interesting thing was, this particular Mercedes I've got, I love it. I love the look of the front end of it. And what I've found
Not
is
so much anymore.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to come back from the workshop actually, but this is the little story around it. So what I found though was when I've had like the more you sort of shift into your spiritual self and things get hoofed away, I realised I still had a little bit of ego around me, and I don't know if it's because of my accident and how I walk, and people always stare at me, but people would always comment on my car. So it'd be like, oh, that's a lovely car. Do you know what I mean? What a tasty looking motor. Blah 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 blah. And I just thought, my car arrives before I do. And it was just this weird thing that this thought went through my head. My car arrives before I do. And I just want people to see me, not an AMG Mercedes.
Yeah.
Because I'm wanting to find a relationship. I'm ready to move into that space. And, I know you're getting so excited about all that. But because of the movement, with everything, I would like to arrive myself rather than my car first, if that makes sense.
I love that.
So I just said to the universe, I'll detach from it. I'll get something different. So I've ordered, a different car, which should be in about December, but it's not a Merc. And I thought I'm just going to have a total change, something totally different. It's something really nice it's still comfy to drive like miles in. It's just what I call it's just like a nice normal car.
Wow.
So I will arrive before my vehicle.
Good for you. Wow, beautiful. That's really lovely. I love the way that you explained that. I'd never even considered that, in all honesty, ever in my life. So that is really beautiful. And a lot of people do that in different ways. Like, that's why some people have the Botox and the extensions and stuff, because they want that to be what people see before they actually see what's in the interior, which is another way of the same thing, really. Wow, it's fascinating. What a bloody epiphany.
It was, yeah. So I think that's where all that, the car started.
And I remember that because you were on the phone, you called me or we spoke afterwards, and you were like, fuck, I've crashed my car really badly. And we went through that, but I'm glad that you're okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It's just interesting how these things are catalysts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pay attention.
Exactly. And this is what we need to remember, is no beginning starts without a harsh ending. It doesn't.
No.
Nothing. Saying goodbye to your parents at the airport to go traveling is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. You want to go traveling, you want to go do this, you're at the start of something amazing, but you are heartbroken because you are leaving them. When you go to a funeral, it's heartbreaking because somebody has left you, but then life all of a sudden starts to transform and things start to change. And it doesn't have to be something quite that harsh, but the end of an era for a car, closing the final page of a book, it's all ways to start new beginnings. And rather than focusing on the ending, it's time to just look at the beginnings that it's about to create.
Yeah, and what beginning? That's the nice thing now, isn't it? About I can be curious about what beginnings.
Exactly.
What now?
And I know it's been a really tricky time for you for the last couple of months. Like, I really do, and my heart goes out to you so much. But let me tell you, 6 months ago, as you know, because you were somebody who was holding space for me at this time, I didn't want to carry on anymore. I was heartbroken. I'd lost everything that I truly saw as my future. I've never been happier than I am now. And that's not me pretending. Never. I am naked and I look the best I've ever looked. I feel like my soul is alive. I'm getting results like I've never got. I'm creating business like this. I'm getting recognition. And I just feel so happy and content doing it all. And that's my wish for everybody. And what happens when we step off of our authentic path, Source will give us sign after sign after sign to take that step off. But if you don't listen, trust me, a baseball bat's coming for your ankles.
Yeah, definitely. Just follow your guidance, people.
And trust that you are being protected. None of this is because you're not being protected. You are being protected more than you will ever know.
Exactly.
I think that's a good place to stop, babe, isn't it?
So, yeah. yeah, that's been a nice conversation this
Absolutely.
morning.
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for making time, babe. And I just want to say to everybody watching this, do remember that Soul School is happening on the 12th of November. I think we're going to have the gorgeous Wendy grace us with her presence. She's not speaking this time because it's just a day. So it's just
I'm coming to absorb.
She's coming to immerse. So do remember that 12th of September. So this time in 2 weeks, basically it's all over until 2024. And then we're coming back bigger and better. And I need to talk to you about that, Wendy, because we've got some big plans for next year, my girl. So it might be that you want to get involved in some of that. So ladies and gents, thank you so much for watching. Wendy, thank you as always. I love you very, very much. Ladies and gents, please do give your gratitude in the chat for Wendy. Give us some support, send us some love to help her get through this navigational shift that she's doing right now. Wendy, thanks for freeing up some time today, babe. I love you loads. And ladies and gents, see you in the next video. See you later.